Hello and welcome back to the RJ National. My name is Matthew Brun. I'm the greenkeeper here for Ransomes Jacobsen. We're now in our third instalment of what's happening at the RJ National. August already, again as I said last time, the year is flying by. And with our open days coming up in October, August is a perfect time for us to start our renovation program. Now with this I've been very busy for the last few weeks. I started off on the greens, tees and approaches with a double verticut. I then proceeded to do a dressing of lawn sand to get rid of any moss that was in the greens there with the wet weather we've had. I then double dynaseeded using the dynaseeders here, which is on the GP 400, and then finished off with some top dressing and brushing that in. And on the fairways and football pitch, I've done some deep aeration and also used the Verticut 214. Now, as we go along in the video, I'll give you more detail on these. So my renovation program began at the second week of August. Now the first phase of this, on the greens, tees and approaches, was a double verticut. That's two passes, slightly different angles. To do this, I used the GreenTech Thatchaway Super Systems Verticut units on the Eclipse 322. And I had these set at -1. Now, as you can see all the vertical blades here, what they're doing is they actually cut channels into the turf for then to allow the air and moisture into the profile. They're removing any lateral growth, removing any thatch build-up, and also removing any road grasses. So this was the first stage of my renovation. So after my verticutting on the greens, tees and approaches, I then done a dressing of lawn sand. Now, during the past few weeks, we've had some really wet weather, and this has encouraged a little bit of moss to come up in the greens. So I wanted to wipe that out straight away. Now, as you can see, the moss is now black and dead. This is because of the high iron content in the lawn sand. So the iron in there kills the moss, and then it's also got a nice boost of nitrogen, which then gives the grass a boost afterwards. And as you can see, the moss is now dead. We can remove it and then overseed. So the next stage in my renovation was to then use the dynaseeders from GreenTech. With these, what I did is actually done the greens, tees and approaches in two different directions there to get a really nice coverage on the green. Now these are great because it's minimal disturbance, time efficient, and it actually gets the seed into the profile, which is fantastic. And I've used these on a weekly basis on the greens now for the last 4 weeks. The great thing about these as well, as I said, I applied the lawn sand and it's killed the moss off, and also as kind of like a double benefit, as I'm going over the green, the dynaseeders are actually removing some of the moss from the profile. So it's fantastic. So we're now here at the second green at the RJ National, and this is the pure fescue green. Now it's 2 weeks after I finished my last work with the dynaseeders, and what I want to show you guys is the ending result. As you can see here on the cleanup lap I did, all the dark lines where the dynaseeders have been, and this is a seed just starting to germinate. Now as a couple more days pass, the grass is obviously going to get tighter and tighter, and in a couple of weeks when I give it my autumn feed, the sward is really going to tighten up and we're going to be in a really good position for the open day. So we're now on to the top dressing part of the renovation program, which I'm doing on the tees, greens and approaches. I'm using the Turfco Widespin 1530, which is fantastic for me. Obviously it's very time efficient and I can set it to exactly how I want it and get a really accurate dispersal of all the top dressing. For this, we're using it to help smooth the putting surface, increase the green speed. So the final stage of my renovation was then to work the top dressing into the profile. Now to do this, I was using the Eclipse 322 and the stiff blue brushes from the GreenTech Thatchaway Super Systems. Now although these are not designed to work the top dressing into the profile, I found that putting the units into reverse and actually dropping the RPM to 1000, these work the top dressing into the profile amazingly well. So as well as doing all the renovation on the greens, tees and approaches, I also done a bit of deep aeration on the fairways, football pitch and the mounds. and this was using the Wiedemann XF, and I was using the 3/4 inch 8-inch tines. And this is really just to open up the surface to allow the air and water to move through the profile. So thanks for joining us here on the RJ National for my renovation month. Hopefully I'll be able to see you guys in person for our open day on October 10th and 11th, where all of the renovation work should have come good. Please join us next month, where we're going to be looking at the new true set unit from Jacobsen, setting the height of cut and also maintaining the cutting units. Thank you very much. So on a personal note from me and many others here from Ransomes Jacobsen, it's been a very sad month as well. We're actually mourning the passing of Norman Fenwick, course manager of Ipswich Golf Club, Purdes Heath. Norman was a great man, great greenkeeper, was involved in the RJ National from more or less day one. Without his knowledge and mentoring to me personally, the RJ National would be nowhere compared to where it is today. It was an absolute privilege knowing, working, being friends with Norman. I know from me personally and the whole of Ransomes Jacobsen that he will be missed very much. Our sympathy goes out to all of his family.